Before we get into this video, if you subscribe to my channel or I subscribe to your channel and I'm not liking or commenting or any of your stuff, call me on it. Let me know I'm not doing my job as a fellow YouTuber. And if you want to do any kind of collab stuff with us, message us, email us. We'll try to, especially if you're close to us. If you're way off and with the rentals, it's hard for me to get too far for too long a period of time. Or if you're coming through East Tennessee and you just want to stop and say hi and shake hands and collab it on a video so we can cross share videos here to increase everybody's followers and subscribers, get at me. I'm all about that stuff. Hey, if you guys need help, whatever, we're there, guys. But anyway, continue on with the video. All right, here we go. All right, so we got the jumper and the EMU Black. Got it all hung up here. So let's, I'm actually going to unhook the ECU. I'm not going to plug in the jumper and the ECU at the same time right now. I don't have a computer to read it. I'm not going to power it up until I make sure I have the right pin out, make sure everything is correct before I plug up my EMU Black. So, all right, here we go. So what I'm getting at is if it can go wrong, it has went wrong. So I just want to confirm that, you know, the pin out on the wiring harness matches the pin out on the ECU or on the jumper before I plug in, you know, something that is not 100% the same pin out. Not that anybody did anything wrong, I just need to confirm this because I think we're still guessing by buying this jumper and installing it. So, alright, here we go. Alright, I'll get my laptop and bring it in tomorrow or whenever, and I will hook to this thing and hook it all up and get it powered up and start trying to read the engine a little bit and see what we got to do. So this will be on standby until I get back with the laptop, maybe tomorrow. It's the weekend, so I don't know if I'll be back tomorrow for sure, but possibly tomorrow. So, alright, here we go. Alright, so I changed the starter and that didn't do anything, so maybe it's a bad relay. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Alright, here we go. Alright, so it took me all of 5 seconds to realize my laptop was so out of date that it wouldn't upload the software. So I had the software, but where I've just sat on it and I've not been working with this computer or anything. I use this computer for editing and all that, just little stuff. I never really use it for anything major, and I was bringing it just so it would be a shop computer. So I'm gonna have to wait on these two thingamabobbers because, again, I'm gonna have to, well, I guess I'll have to just go buy a laptop specifically for this. I talked to, actually before Tony had passed away, I talked to Tony and we had this discussion, and Tony said I had to make sure I had one that had enough I had the correct software, anything past Windows 10, and I did not. So I'm gonna have to get a laptop. What he did tell me is it doesn't take up a lot of memory, and it's super small files. So I should be able to get just a cheap one with, you know, something that's got an okay antivirus, so it doesn't get a bunch of crap. But it's all I'll use it for. It's just because I need to do this one, and I'm probably going to remote tune. Before I found Tony, well, I've known Tony forever, but before I talked to him and realized he was still tuning cars, I thought they had closed their shop and were just working on their own stuff, their Supra and all that thing, you know, things that they fool with. I think they own like a big heat and air company or something. And before I had talked to him and we got a game plan on working on mine, I had talked to a guy from, I don't know where he's from, but he talked about tuning the car, my IS300, remotely. And I may go back to that ideal, but with doing this and trying to figure out something on the 240, I will have to get the laptop to do the IS300 anyway. I'm not 100% sold that that jumper harness is going to be the fix with the ECU Masters Black. I don't think all the pins are right. I don't think it's going to read everything. I don't know that. I don't know that to be true, because when I loaded the newest software of ECU Masters Black, it didn't transfer at all. So I guess the Windows 10, not having the Windows 10 to be able to get to the latest software, I think it lost some of the stuff. I got a little pop-up menu saying that it couldn't read this or that. So I don't want to say that it's not the fix yet. However, I don't know that it is the fix. So I'm still having to buy something else to find out. But I needed the laptop, so I can't even argue that, you know, unless I took it and had it tuned somewhere. But, you know, I was talking to Tony and he made a good point. He told me that if my son and I are going to be drifting and we're going to run aftermarket ECUs and we're going to go to different tracks, different elevations and stuff, he said at some point I'm going to need to know how to make some adjustments on my computer, or, you know, to set it up enough to where I can call somebody, or, you know, or send him a file and he could update it or something. We did discuss a few options and some things there, because you always see the guys at the drag strips, you know, or whatever, jump in a car and make some adjustments. So with drifting, I'm sure it's going to be the same as well, so it's not going to hurt to learn some stuff. So make it into that part of it and start learning a little bit to tune some of these, or at least set them up to where, you know, I can start them and all that. I'm not 100% sure. I think I was pretty close to having a file that would start the car, but I couldn't. What the deal was, all the base maps I could find, there's a, inside there's a ignition wizard for the coils. It lets the computer actually reads and tells you what kind of coils you have. So the ignition wizard, I clicked on it, and every time it tried to load and actually set up the coils that I have, it kept booting it out, and I'd have to restart it or bring the menu back. It would let me do the injectors that way, because I found a different base map and I was trying to do it with the injectors, and it would let me put the injection wizard, it's called. Click on it and it allows you, it shows you what injectors you have, and you can apply that. The basic stuff, making sure I have the correct injector settings and the correct coil pack settings, and make sure they're all working. So, you know, that's what I have to figure out and make sure I at least have that. And once you get that far, and make sure you have a get a timing light and connect that to that and let it know that you're on the correct numbers, it's synced or whatever, then you will know. And once you get the computer sync with the timing light, then you can go from there. So yeah, I've got to get a timing light. I've got one somewhere. I'll have to hunt it, make sure I'm on the, I have to somehow correlate that to the program. But I have to have a laptop. Priority number one, I have to go get a cheap laptop. So I get that, get it set up, and then I'll go from there. But that's where I'm at with the 240. Yeah. So All right, here we go. All right, so let's just show you how my luck goes. All right, so I had to buy the custom harness to do the 2J. Then I had to buy the jumper. Then I was told they couldn't figure out what ECU, so I had to, well, that was before the jumper, and then the jumper, and then use a $1,000 ECU. So it's $2,000 between the harness and the ECU. Then I had to go buy a $1,000 laptop, because my laptop was out of date on the the Windows or whatever. So I bought that jewel, and now I can't find a map that sets this thing up to where it'll run. So I had to email ECU Masters and give them all my information for a base map. And so now I'm waiting. And to add to that, I think that IS-300 possibly has a water pump leak. I'm hoping it's not, but it's dripping like it's a water pump. And I was underneath, I changed the little plug out. I didn't film none of that stuff. It's just a quick change out. Change that plug, and there's water dripping. I couldn't find where it's coming from, so I'd be willing to bet that it's going to be the water pump. I'll have to get on the lift as soon as I get something situated, but I bet it's the water pump. Yeah. So, all right, on to the next project. All right, here we go. So tomorrow, I think I'm going to pull this IS-300 out. Maybe I may go work on a rental, but if not, I'm going to pull this IS-300 out, let this thing down, and we'll do some looking at it again, do some scoping it out. Got a wire wheel down some of the paint on this bar over here. It ran a little bit. Do that, and I may schedule it to do some tube steel front stuff on the core support and all that. We're debating on all that stuff, so yeah, so maybe end up doing that kind of thing, but still kind of up in the air on that. That'll be my what is it called? Whatever, purple 2, midnight purple 2, midnight purple 2. Yes, my midnight purple 2 will be gone. The majority of it, up to at least the strut tower. Of course, it will look better. The crappy job I did on the tubs, that'll go away. So then at that point we can do something different. But I think I'm kind of backing up on it, but I want to do that before going any further. So if this ends up competition car, we don't have to do it later. So that's where we're going with it, I think. Not 100% sure yet, but I think. So, yeah. All right, here we go.
I'm feeling high. I'm feeling